Ever wondered about the very first power struggle in Christianity? Forget the big schisms you learned about in history class. What if the original split happened right after Jesus' resurrection between his most devoted followers? Today, we're diving deep into a fascinating and often overlooked conflict. Mary Magdalene versus the 12 disciples. A clash that might have set the stage for 2,000 years of Christian history. This isn't just a story about who was Jesus' favorite. It's a clash of worldviews. On one side, you have Mary Magdalene, presented in ancient texts not as a mere follower, but as a visionary, a mystic who understood Jesus' deepest teachings through direct inner experience. On the other side, you have the apostles, particularly Peter and Andrew, who were focused on building a structured, organized church, a community with rules and a clear hierarchy. Was this the first great Christian schism, not over doctrine, but between personal spiritual revelation and institutional authority? Between a female mystic and the men who would become the fathers of the Orthodox Church? Let's explore the evidence. To understand this conflict, we have to look beyond the four canonical Gospels. While they're essential, they don't tell the whole story. We need to turn to texts that were excluded from the New Testament, often called the Gnostic Gospels, discovered in Nag Hammadi, Egypt in 1945. These texts, like the Gospel of Mary, the Gospel of Thomas, and Pistis Sophia, paint a radically different picture of Mary Magdalene and her role. In these writings, Mary isn't just a witness to the resurrection. She's the one to whom the risen Christ imparts his most profound secret teachings. She is the apostle to the apostles, the one who understands what the others cannot grasp. The Gospel of Mary is central to this. The text describes a scene where the grieving disciples ask Mary to share any special teachings she received from the Savior, because they know he loved her more than all other women. So, Mary begins to describe a complex vision of the soul's journey after death, a deeply mystical and personal revelation. But how do the other disciples react? Not with awe, but with hostility and disbelief. This is where the tension explodes. Andrew is the first to object. He says, "I at least do not believe that the Savior said this. For certainly these teachings are strange ideas." He can't accept that Jesus would deliver teachings so different from what they had heard. His reaction is one of intellectual doubt. He's trying to preserve the established message, the party line, if you will. Anything that sounds strange or new is immediately suspect. This represents the institutional instinct to maintain a consistent, controllable doctrine. Then comes Peter, and his reaction is much more personal and heated. He questions Mary's credibility based on her gender. He asks, "Did he really speak privately with a woman and not openly to us? Are we to turn about and all listen to her? Did he prefer her to us?" Let's break that down. Peter's objection is twofold. First, the secrecy. Why would Jesus share things with her privately? This challenges the apostles' authority as the designated public leaders. Second, and more pointedly, the gender issue. Did he prefer her asterisk to us asterisk? This isn't just about the message. It's about status and power. Peter, the rock on which the church would be built, feels his position is being undermined by a woman. His response reflects a patriarchal worldview where men are the natural leaders and public teachers, and women's spiritual authority is seen as illegitimate. This moment in the Gospel of Mary is incredibly dramatic. Mary weeps, asking Peter if he thinks she's making it all up. The group is on the verge of fracturing. It's another disciple, Levi, who steps in to defend her. He rebukes Peter, saying, "Peter, you have always been hot-tempered. Now I see you contending against the woman like the adversaries. If the Savior made her worthy, who are you indeed to reject her? Surely the Savior knows her very well. That is why he loved her more than us." Levi's defense is crucial. He reframes the issue from one of hierarchy to one of spiritual worthiness. He essentially says, who are we to question the Savior's choice? He validates Mary's inner knowing and her special relationship with Jesus, directly confronting Peter's ego and prejudice. After Levi speaks, the disciples calm down and go forth to preach, but the seed of conflict has been sown. So what does this all mean? This wasn't just a petty squabble. It was a fundamental disagreement about the nature of faith and authority. Mary Magdalene represents the Gnostic or mystical path, the idea that God can be known directly and personally through inner vision and revelation. This path is intuitive, individual, and doesn't necessarily need a priest or a bishop to act as an intermediary. It's about gnosis, direct, experiential knowledge. Peter and Andrew, on the other hand, represent the foundation of what would become the Orthodox institutional church. Their focus is on preserving a specific set of teachings, creating a unified community, and establishing a clear line of authority passed down from Jesus to the apostles and their successors. In this model, private revelations are dangerous because they can't be controlled. They threaten the unity and stability of the institution. Authority comes from the office, not from personal experience. Think about it. The church that Peter is said to have founded in Rome became the Catholic Church, a highly structured, hierarchical, and patriarchal institution. For centuries, this church actively suppressed mystical traditions and alternative gospels, labeling them as heresy. The Gnostic texts, including the Gospel of Mary, were hidden in the desert for over 1,500 years, precisely to save them from being destroyed by the dominant church. So, was this the original apostolic split? A schism between a female mystic championing inner truth and a group of male bureaucrats building an external institution? The evidence from these ancient texts strongly suggests it was. The conflict between Mary and Peter wasn't just a personality clash. It was a battle for the soul of Christianity itself. One path, represented by Mary, emphasized a personal, liberating journey of enlightenment. The other, championed by Peter, prioritized order, obedience, and the collective institution. And we know which path won, historically speaking. The Petrine, or orthodox, model became the dominant form of Christianity, shaping Western civilization for millennia. Mary Magdalene, the apostle to the apostles, was sidelined. Her image was later distorted, transforming her from a powerful spiritual leader into a repentant sinner, a narrative that effectively silenced her authority for centuries. But the discovery of texts, like the Gospel of Mary, is changing all of that. It allows us to hear her voice again and to understand that from the very beginning, there were multiple, competing visions of what it meant to be a follower of Christ. The story of Mary Magdalene and Peter reminds us that the history we've been told is often the story of the winners. But the losers, the voices that were silenced, often have the most profound things to teach us about what was lost. This ancient conflict still resonates today in debates within modern faith communities. The tension between personal spiritual experience and institutional dogma, between charismatic female leaders and traditional male hierarchies, between mysticism and orthodoxy, it all traces back to that room where Mary shared her vision, and Peter questioned her right to speak. It's a powerful reminder that the journey of faith is often a complex and contested one. What do you think? Was this the first and most significant split in Christianity? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into forgotten history, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next exploration. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.